Okay, good morning. Today is April 23rd. We're back here trading the Nasdaq. As always, this is a Topstep account. Basically, this whole series is basically me doing a Topstep Step 2 combine, trying to pass it and go through it and, stick to all the rules and all that. As always, skip to the end of the video. If you are just clicking on at the end of it, I will recap all the trades that I took throughout the day. But yeah, let's get into it. It looks like the Nasdaq is pushing this morning. Market just opened 2 minutes ago. Had a nice little consolidation in the pre-market where it was just holding a tight channel and rocketed out. We'll look to buy on a pullback, maybe to volume or maybe to the top of this channel somewhere. We'll look to take a long. Delta looks solid. I don't have water. Tempting to add here. Usually I like to wait at least for the first 5 minutes. Let the market at least set its opening range on the 5-minute level and even the 15-minute a lot of times before I jump into anything either direction. We see the ES is also pushing up, trying to get above the range that it set from the pre-market and last night. Let's look at news, see if there's anything there. Not anything crazy showing up in my news feed. Looking like it does want to continue long here. We'll see. Or is it going to double top and come down? I'm going to add here. My stop's pretty tight. We'll just have it at the swing low of this, exiting. Not interested if it starts pulling off, just not interested at all. Delta showing some sellers coming in, so just gonna try and be patient and wait here. Try to go for the early, see if it would break the range and shoot up, but it didn't. Took a small loss on that one, which is all right. I'll just chill here and see what it does. If it comes down, we can maybe add off of the +1 or off of VWAP. Those would both be great places to buy. So we'll just wait and see. May add again if this breaks the +2. Looks like it's rejecting. Turn again. See if this can push up this time. If not, again, very tight stop. Bit of a break there, moving to profitable somewhere. Stopped out basically at break even. Maybe could have given it a little bit more space there, but again, I'm looking for those aggressive pushes where it just shoots through. Maybe could have given that one a bit more space though. The delta is making new highs. This should be able to push up. Watching the ES to see if the ES pushes up here. If it does, maybe then I'll consider adding on the Nasdaq. Otherwise, I think I'll wait. Price action looking a little weird, a little choppy at the moment. I get the feeling that it wants to come up, but not quite doing that. It is holding this resistance, or this resistance is holding up pretty strongly. So again, we'll just be patient and we'll wait. I don't want to see this continue to chop around. I want it to either, push up or just make a lower low. I'm not really too concerned with which direction it goes as long as it picks a direction and goes, right? See if it breaks this time or not. Taking the breakout. Just gonna follow up closely. Stopped out for a little bit there. A little unfortunate. I was hoping that would shoot up more than that, but just got stopped out. We'll see what it does. May consider trying to add again on the same push, though I generally like to avoid doing that too much. Okay, let's see if this ends up being a false breakout. That's why I always move my stops up so quickly on those, because false breakouts just happen so frequently and there's not really a way of telling beforehand. Not wanting to add here. Usually after these false breakouts, you get all sorts of things can happen. This could hold this support and shoot back up but it's also just as likely that it, took out everybody's stop who was above here and is now shooting and will shoot back down. Go buy a stop above there. I just don't know how I feel about buying there. Okay, right under the volume node here. So we've seen that a resistance is formed at this level at a 13,805. There's something to keep note of, that there is resistance there. Look at time charts and see if there's anything. We're close to a pivot point. Maybe that's something, but we're above the pivot point, so I don't know. I don't quite think that's what's there. The 15. 200 EMA is above us on the 15-minute chart, so definitely gonna act as resistance there. Let's go back. Okay, so now we've broken the range on both sides, pushed up above it, rejected, came down, we're underneath it. We'll see what happens now. If this holds strong and pushes down, then we'll look for the VWAP bounce to try to take a long off of. If this doesn't get below here and gets back above this node, I'll probably put a buy stop just pending, just so I can see where it is, right? We'll leave that there for now. Not sure if I want this to fill or not. Would like to see more on Delta, would like to see a more bullish formation, but it's not the worst entry if it does. But it's not the best either. We're still in a bit too much of a sideways channel. I'm gonna remove it. I like seeing the buyers on Delta there. We'll see if there's some follow-up before trying to long this. Small break of that candle, so we'll add there, see if we can't get above. Not wanting to go in my favor here. I'll give this one a little bit more space. I'll give this one to the swing low. I'll give this one an honest chance. Unless I see sellers coming in on the Delta, then I'm just gonna kill it, which I am starting to see. So if this drops down, I'm gonna exit. Okay, looking for the VWAP bounce play. We'll see if it happens. See what it does here at the +1. Heading back in. Hopefully it doesn't reject on this node. If it does, again, we'll look to get out fairly quick. Popped through. Let's see if we can't finally get to the long side here. I like the buyers that I see. Let's see if they can continue. Looks like it's failing. Probably gonna get stopped out here. Okay, so that one's failed. Doesn't look like longs are the way to go. Oh no, now it's pushing up. Tricky position for me here, entering that one. Big buyers here on the delta. Need the push to happen. I'm getting caught up in all this choppiness here this morning. These are the type of markets I usually try to avoid. I want things to trend and not chop around like it's been doing. We'll put the stop there just so it locks in something profitable on this trade. We'll just follow up as far as this wants to push, just falling behind each current bar. And whatever it decides to pay me is whatever it will pay. Hopefully we can get a nice break of the high here. Okay. We'll just keep trailing. Locked in at 600 on that trade. Or on this trade. Look at the ES pushing, creep up to the next one. Locked in at 720. Don't want to see the push end here, but there it is. Okay, long finally came through for us here. Still down 390 on the day. Just gonna be patient here. Gonna be patient, let this push exhaust itself. Wait for the pullback wherever, and then we'll take another long. I wish I had held through this bit of drawdown here rather than taking that loss. This loss here ended up being $435. Imagine adding that to the 750, then I'd be nicely green on the day. That's okay. There'll be more trades. We'll take those and we'll end up wherever we end up. Looking at the chart, I wouldn't mind seeing this drop down to the node before bouncing. That's something more concrete to add off of, where here it's kind of hard to. A lot of momentum long happening right now. ES still pushing up. ES at high of day. Look at this bar on the delta. Very tempting to buy here, but buying at high of day is generally not a good idea. Just gonna be patient. If it pushes without me, then so be it. You know, just gotta be patient and wait. Let's go look at our time charts. On the 15-minute. Looks like we reversed a lot of the drop from yesterday already. Above the 200 EMA on the 15, let's see the 30. Just under the 200 EMA on the 30-minute chart. So a bit of resistance here. Old pivot point from yesterday is also here, so, or pivot level. It's my old Bollinger Band chart. I don't use the Bollinger Bands anymore. Okay, some sellers came through here. Let's see how far down they can push and if it's enough for me to want to buy. ES again making a high. If I see buyers come through on the delta for the Nasdaq, I will add. Granted, I would much rather see this come down right now before going up. Would rather buy off a pullback than on a breakout of a high. comes to quick scalps, I will do either. It's just a matter of when it's off a pullback, it's easier to keep your stop a little bit further away. Or like it makes more sense to, right? To give it more space because it's off a pullback, there's more structure, it has more room to the upside. So it's okay to take on that little bit, you know, a little more risk and leave the stop further away. Whereas on the breakout, you just, I don't know, it's either going to stop you out right away or it's going to shoot past wherever you entered in at and never go back. Put it by a stop right above the high. Just looking at it, it is poised to, based on, you know, if it follows the ES, then it does have a bit of space to the upside from here. Again, we are very down from where the open of yesterday was, so there really is, the way the market sold off yesterday and just kind of last night, there's actually a lot of space to the upside. So buying the breakout today, not quite as bad, because on longer time frames, this is really a correction. It's kind of like a mean reversion style play if you're swing, for those who are swing trading. You know, obviously, if as a day trader only trading like the very small time frame, there's nothing mean reversion about this. This is basically just taking breakouts, buying high, selling higher. But for a swing trader, they're going to be looking at the, you know, some sort of time frame like this, and they'll see this big drop, and they're buying all this and saying, you know, it'll come back up to some sort of average somewhere in this area, which is what's kind of already been happening. So we'll see if it can continue to do that, or, you know, if it rejects here and sells off. Again, the ES is still getting after it, trying to make new highs and maintain those new highs. So I will leave this up here for now. Delta showing some sellers coming in. Let's delete this for a sec. What could hurt me on this trade? The fact that there is sell pressure up here could mean that this could push up and just have a false breakout and come down. I don't necessarily know that would happen. I don't know what weighs more heavily, the fact that the ES is pushing, or the fact that there are a bunch of sellers right at this level. I'm also curious if there are people selling in this area. I would assume that they would put their stop right above the high of day. I don't know where else you're going to put a stop. You know, anybody who's selling through this range, I don't know where else they would put their stop besides where I'm putting my entry. So I'm thinking if it breaks through here, it should be able to shoot through aggressively. I don't necessarily know if it will, because just based on the delta and the way the price action is forming, it's not looking like it wants to. But then again, you never know. Maybe it just rockets up there, hits my stop, stops me in, and then it shoots past it. Certainly based on the ES over here, that would be a possibility. Not entirely sure if I'll be correct, but trying to take advantage of people who just got stopped out here. Was tempted to just get out there. I'll give it again, give it a bit of a shot, right? Like looking at this delta, how many buyers that is, that's actually a lot. So I want to give it a fair shot to actually push. Go up. I want it to leg up on this bar. If it does, then I will put my stop here. Again, look at the ES. The ES is still pushing highs. I'm gonna leave it here. We're gonna change the style a little bit here. I think that right now it's worth it to take more risk on, so I'm going to leave my stop, you know, just underneath the swing low. It's $1,200. If it does stop me out there, that would be the end of my day, which would be a very quick day for me. But I think right now it is worth the chance for it to push. Just looking at the ES and looking at the delta and looking at the formation here, it makes sense that this would push up. I don't necessarily know up to where per se. Yeah, I don't necessarily know to be honest, the upside is quite high. The next real resistance you have would be these wicks from yesterday at 857. Just quite a ways off. So we'll see, we'll see. So yeah, we'll target that, we'll leave it there. Just, you know, trying to be on the lookout for signs that this thing is going to fake a breakout, but I mean, it's already kind of broken, and I don't know, just again, looking at the ES and the way that's pushing, I don't see why this would be a fake breakout. Usually on the fakes, it cracks and then comes down quicker than this, I want to say, but I don't know. Seeing a little bit of sellers here on the delta. Not much though. Not what I wanted to see there. Sellers coming through. I do not want to see this flush and break this range. Again, just trying to remain patient just because, you know, looking at the day, looking at everything that we're seeing just on all the markets in general, I think that it is worth it to take the risk here. Otherwise, you know, normally I would move my stop up and be out of it, but I'm going to give this one a chance to actually develop and just, you know, just play out. If it hurts me, then it hurts me, and if it works out, then it works out, and that's just kind of the name of the game. I think if we can break above where we are now, I will move my stop up somewhere so that I'm at least break even and profitable on the day, and then if the markets want to continue pushing up for a while and pay me, then great, and if not, then, you know, it sucks and it's unfortunate, but oh well, that's just kind of the name of the game. Look at ES over here. ES is putting in work. Still right at those highs. See, the longer this stays at this area, the more I don't want to be in it anymore. I am going to move this up somewhere to profitable just because I don't want to take a loss on this trade. If this doesn't shoot out right here and now, then, you know, I'm okay being out of it. Yeah. It may continue to push up. I guess I decided to change my mind. I wanted to see it go earlier. I may regret that though. We'll see here in probably the next couple of minutes. I'm gonna grab some water. Okay, looks like we had a bit of a push after I got out of that trade. A little unfortunate, should have held it, should have still been in it. Just jump back in. I like the way Delta looks. Looks like it's trying to get aggressive here. Sort of, anyway. It's still kind of grinding upwards slowly, but hey, I mean, if it's going to grind upwards, then we might as well just chill and stay in there. Overall stop size is still the same as it was before. Very tempting to go lock that in already, honestly. Today is one of those days where I would just put, normally, honestly, if I wasn't for the sake of streaming, I would put my take profit. Because I know when I watch markets, I tend to do what I just did, right? To jump in and jump out and jump in and jump out. A day like this, I would set my stop wherever, put my take profit at, what was it that we identified on the 30? It wasn't this high, it was like here. And I just walk away. And I'd come back at the end of the day and see if it hit or not, or if I got stopped out. I just find it a lot harder to sit here and pay attention. It's just mentally taxing for me. Oh, I deleted my take profit by accident. Oh well. especially when it's kind of grinding like this and not shooting. Like I like these types of pushes here. This thing is liable to shoot down now. Yesterday's drop was vicious. I think Biden released his capital gains tax plan, or some sort of plan involving capital gains tax, and the market just dropped. So I guess he's increasing them, or wants to anyway. So far, so good. Markets look like they're pushing up. Again, it is very tempting for me to just lock in, take profits, and, run away. I don't see any reason to sell, but I think I'm just pessimistic. I'm just a very scared trader in general, so I'm always getting out of things quickly. And the unfortunate problem there is I have a tendency to be able to hold my losers a lot longer than my winners. But part of that too is that when I do hold the winners, trying to, really hold on to them, they turn into losers. Kind of like this is doing here. Sellers starting to come in on the delta. Just hoping this thing doesn't start coming down very aggressively. Hopefully buyers get back in here, pushes back up, get us to new highs again. Again, it's very grindy. The market's grinding a lot today, but as long as it's grinding upwards in our favor, that's okay. It's just a pain to watch. It sucks to look at. Market's still trying to hold. Nasdaq still trying to hold and push up. Although it looks like it's running out of some steam here. ES starting to sell, have its first downward push. Not necessarily sure if I really want to be in for the downward push. Closing out. I'll wait for this downward push to exhaust itself, and then I'll jump back in. I should have jumped in on this here. This was FOMO for feeling like I got out too early there. Staying with these grindy days, it looks like it's coming down, and then it's already at the bottom. But we'll see. Just gonna be patient here. Let it really exhaust the downward momentum, and then we'll jump back in and go long. Lots of sellers coming in here. Where will buyers catch a bid? Looks like they are. Let's see if the push is back on from here or not. Certainly hope so. Let me see if it breaks the low that it just formed there. I'm out. And it looks like I'm out there, stopped out. Just gonna let this try and push down as much as it can. See, I'm looking for strong pushes, but the market's just grinding so much that I'm not seeing any. The only one was this one from the morning. I mean, it's still morning, but from closer to the open anyway. This push here was the only strong push where it really surged, and then maybe here as well. But aside from that, not really getting much. At some point, the market's going to expand. At some point, that major push is going to happen. It's just a matter of will I still be around when it does. I'm going to see if this is the exhaustion of the downward push. I want the downward momentum to be over and done with and just get back to the long side. Ouch. Oh, now it wants to shoot down. Let's see if it breaks the range. go ahead and delete that out of there. Still selling off here. If this gets through this volume node below, this area, if it gets through that node and then gets through VWAP, we'll probably look to go short. I'll probably start looking for shorts, but until then, I'm gonna look for anything that bit's trying to bounce off and, you know, just long it there. Like this. If it starts to show buyers and keeps pushing up, then I'll probably long somewhere on this node or above. We'll long it here. I like the way the ES is pushing, making new highs. I'm hoping that the Nasdaq will follow suit. Just moving the take profit way off. I think that's at the +3. I don't know where that is, but just moving it way off. Just gonna be patient. Stops underneath the swing. Getting a nice push here, finally showing that strength, finally having that big push. Moving my stop up. Just gonna follow and trail each bar. How much is that locked in for anyway? It's 555. I'd like to see more of a push. I mean, heck, always want to see more of a push. Who doesn't? Push more. I do honestly want to see it break through the +2. If it breaks through the +2, then I can move my stop up somewhere where I won't feel like I need to constantly creep up so close and actually give it space. To be honest, at 555, really we're already there. If it wasn't for the fact that I was down so much on the day, I would just leave the stop here and let it go. But that's not the position we're in yet, so I'm going to creep up. One, 2, 4, 5. So I need to be 1, 2, 4, 5 if possible. Move it to an even 900 just cause. I'm a liar. Move it there. Just put it underneath the bars as always. If it stops me out, then it stops me out, and I'll, so be it. Okay. Ooh, a little bit of slippage there. But now we're down 255. That trade made $990. Going to be really, really patient here and really look for another push, or an entirely different push, right? Like, I'm not gonna so my only problem today, the only thing I think that was actually a mistake, was FOMOing into this trade at the highs because I didn't feel like I let this run enough. So FOMOing into this trade resulted in basically a $600 loss, which I've had to now dig myself out of, and I have most of the way. So we'll look for another, an actually like really good trade, rather than trying to FOMO into anything or being impatient or whatever. Just gonna chill, relax, let the thing, start coming down, let it pull back, let it really exhaust, and then we'll start trying to, once we see the momentum coming back on the long side, we'll take the next leg upwards. Looks like it's continuing its push upward. Just gonna chill and be patient. It's okay that we're out. Just wait, and whenever the next push comes, we'll enter. On the delta, looks like it's starting to go sideways on the delta. The ES is still pushing strong, so I assume that we're going to continue to trend upwards overall. However, it looks like we're going to go sideways and maybe get a nice sell-off here on the Nasdaq. Before that, if we can, I would look to add off of that drop. Like I said, the market tends to go from periods of contraction to expansion. So if you see it moving slow for a while, then what's coming next is going to be a lot of movement, right? So this may have been the start. Well, maybe it was here, but regardless, we may be in that period where it's moving quite a lot. Hopefully it will sell off here and we can get an entry and catch the pushback up. If not, if it doesn't sell off and just continues sideways, we'll leave it alone. If it just continues upwards, then we will also just leave it alone and not participate. But it looks like it is trying to sell off here. We'll see how far it can get down. Ideally, I don't want to see it make any sort of new low. I want to see a higher low. Ideally off of the node and the +1. That would be the perfect spot for it to do that for me. If it does do it beforehand, then I'll enter and just keep my stop as tight as I can and try to get out quickly. If it does it down here, then I'm more willing to give it a bit more space. this yet or not? Seems early. I could, but seems early. I'd rather see more of a significant drop than here. It will be unfortunate if this starts pushing up without me, but just got to be patient and wait for the nice setups. Oh, man. Dang. Trying to see what it does here. Trying to be patient. I liked this little breakdown, but then it pushed up. Looks like it just broke the range on either side. The last time it did that, it broke above, broke below, and then it went up afterwards. So I don't know. If it follows that, then in theory it would break below, break above, and then come down. But this is an entirely different push. History does not always repeat itself. At least not in markets anyway. So we'll see what it does here. Again, I think I would like to see it sell off more than where it's currently at before I was to start taking longs again. Starting to get a headache, getting tired. Looks like we're trying to go long. Put in a higher low. I could buy here and just put in a very tight stop. Let's see what it does here. Stops in. But at least it's swing low. Not that I would hold it if it comes down. If it starts coming down, I'm not going to hold it till that. ES still making highs. Watching the delta. Buyers still coming in on the delta. Oh. Getting a bit of a push here. Looks like it's trying to go ahead and push. Nice little break. Giving it some space. If this bar completes, I will lock in here. See what is that? 270. Just do it now. We're out up to 70. That puts us at positive on the day. Just a quick scalp there. Got out pretty early. May push more. I saw the ES running into a pivot point, so I don't want this to hit resistance at the exact same time that the Nasdaq is running into the +2. So I just decided to call it quits there. These pivot points are actually very, very strong. And the nice thing about pivot points is that they're the exact same on all time frames. So anybody looking at this, no matter what time frame, they're all going to see the exact same pivot point, which I think is what a little bit of what reinforces why the market reacts so much to them. Anyway, just got out of that one there for those two reasons. Or decided to move my stop up more quickly there for those two reasons. Plus, I would just, be frank, I just wanted to be out positive. It's working out for me so far, so good here. Waiting for the drop. Let's see how far down it goes before we try to, again, start trying to long again. I don't want to play too much in this range. I actually want to see a big push down. I actually want to see a nice formation. Have an extended, not long and drawn out, push to the downside, but an actual push, not this stuff. This is nothing. I want to see it come down to like the +1 and test this volume node here. Because right now we're starting to get back into the, it's pushing up overall, that's great, but a little bit grindy, a little bit choppy in the way it's doing it. And again, not really a fan of it. I just like again, who doesn't like this, but when it just surges and pushes, right? Same with this here. Seeing a nice bullish formation here on the delta. Also getting a nice build-up pattern here on the NQ. Expecting a push to come through, but we'll see. Take a look at the Nasdaq time charts. Looks solid there. Very, very bullish on the 30-minute. Very bullish on the 15. Next resistance is 30 points away on the pivot points for the Nasdaq. Or next major resistance anyway. Ooh. ES breaking through its pivot point. Kind of wanted to take the breakout trade here. This breakout formation actually looks solid. Just the way that it's built up on the delta, the ES is breaking through the pivot point, pushing long, making new highs. It actually looks solid here. Just buy and put the stop right underneath this this previous bar here. If it stops me out for that amount, then so be it. 435. Looks like it may. Again, it could still work, but I'm just not willing to risk any more than just the one bar. That's kind of how it is with breakouts. Kind of doing that choppy upwards grind again. I think I'm just gonna chill for a while and see if I can't. Again, I'd like to get out of here by 10:30. So that is coming up in 28 minutes. Would like to see if it could push down here, get a nice push down, and then I can long it from there, and actually, enter something where I can actually have a stop that's decently far away rather than taking the breakouts. As you can see on the ES 15-minute chart, it just failed to break out on the pivot point. It hit it, tried to break for a bit, and then just rejected and is coming back down a bit here. Nasdaq following suit. At the bottom of this channel is a potential ad. Just gonna draw it on there for you. Tempting, very tempting to long this off of the trend line, put the stop right underneath it and see if it holds the pattern. I'd be more inclined to risk it on this trade if I hadn't taken the previous one. The alternative is I just buy here and put my stop underneath the swing low. It's also not a bad trade at all. Again, we are trending upwards, so in theory it shouldn't ever come back underneath this point, but we just don't really know that. I'm gonna enter, gonna give it a shot. Again, kind of the same as last time. If it does come underneath this swing low, then I will be out 1290 on this trade, and I'll just be done for the day basically. So we're just gonna be patient here. I think we were talking about targeting the pivot point. We'll put our stop just under the pivot level on the Nasdaq. Stops at 13,901. I'm gonna put it underneath 13,900. Just for the sake of being underneath the whole number. I don't know what it is about whole numbers. We'll see which direction this thing wants to push first. We're buying kind of at a high. It's kind of the hazard when it's kind of just grinding upwards and not in that aggressive push upward phase. Looks like we're getting a bit of a break here. Starting to push up. We'll see if the ES can't get through this pivot point and launch upwards. Hopefully it does. Would like to see it. Just gonna kind of chill and let this play out. Again, I know that right now it's kind of meandering and grinding. It is more so on the upside than to the downside, which is good. So if you're in it, or since I'm in it, I don't mind if it grinds upwards. That's fine by me. I'm just hoping that when it finally does hit that period of expansion and we do get that strong push, it does continue to the upside and not the downside, right? So for now, I'm just gonna leave my stop where it is. Still risking 1305 on the trade. Again, if it stops me out here, that will be the end of my day. I think the same thing, if it hits this take profit, that will also be the end of my day. We are getting near 10:30. I think either way, I'm going to be done trading for the day after this trade, so we'll just see how it plays out here. I had a very small green day yesterday. Hopefully I can have some sort of a green day today. Okay, the ES is finally above the pivot point. Let's see if it can hold it there. Get a bit of a push here. And Nasdaq, at least it's above my entry. I'm not gonna have to stop up on this one, not just yet. Just gonna let it push. Let the trade go and be great. Have patience with the loser. Well, no. I've been very impatient with my losers today. So I'll credit myself there. I've been very, very impatient with the trades that we're losing. I've cut them all off very quickly. Sometimes to my detriment even. But hey, it is what it is. So going to try and be patient with the winners. This trade is in the green. Going to try and let it sit for a bit and go. Getting a nice push here. I think if it legs up on this bar, I will move my stop up here. So now we are locked in at 450. We will finish the day green for sure. deleting my take profit and just gonna let it, you know, ride as much as I can. Okay. Following that one close, we're locked in at 810. I want to see it get above this +2. Would love to see it get above the +2. Lots of buyers here. Hopefully they can continue their momentum, push this above the +2. Because if it gets above the +2, I can put my stop underneath it, and then I won't move my stop up until, you know, the trade really goes long and becomes something absurd. It doesn't look like it wants to though. Put it underneath the body. That's really close. We'll see. We'll see what it does. If it stops me out, then so be it. Stopped out. We're up 585 on the day. Moral of the day today was, you know, kind of buy high and sell higher. Only able to stay in it this long and get to this point because, again, I stopped out very quickly. We'll go look at the trade report here, and looking at it, my total losses, losing trades, average losing trade, $467.50. So I'm barely above 50% for the day, but still managed to be up on the day just because I'm cutting off my losers quickly and letting the winners run a bit more than my losers. Let's come to the trade and just recap the day. Took plenty of trades today. Sorry if that's disorienting. I know I'm moving my screen around a lot. But basically, from the morning, we saw that the markets were pushing up. So I decided I was just going to take longs. Look for those pullbacks and take longs. The market was kind of, after this initial push here, the market tended to grind and just kind of meander around. So being that it was doing that, I knew I was going to have to essentially trade breakouts, almost like a breakout style of trading, which is something I'm a little bit uncomfortable with. But since I know that I'm trading breakouts, it just means, you know, tighten up those stops. If it stops you out, you may get stopped out like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times in a row, but that one trade that pushes through and doesn't get stopped out is going to make significantly more than all those trades that did get stopped out, right? So you'll see here, I took a trade, got stopped out for a small loss, took another trade, I got stopped out for basically break even, and then a third trade, and again was stopped out for basically break even. My fourth trade, took that and had a small loss, and my fifth trade took a small loss. So I had 5 trades basically, and let's go look at our trades on the day. My first 5 trades are pretty much, you know, looking at them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My first 5 trades are all losses and breaking even, and it wasn't until my 6th trade of the day that I actually had a profit, and that 6th trade was gained 750. So it didn't quite erase all the losers, but it put me back in the, back to where I'm comfortable. Not really too much worried about taking a few losses there. Luckily, my next trade, I jumped back in. I saw the delta, and on all these trades, really what I was seeing was the delta pushing up simultaneously to, I used the ES quite a lot today. So looking at the ES, you can see it's very, very bullish. And so as I was seeing the ES making highs, I was looking at the Nasdaq and expecting for it to follow suit. If I would see delta showing that buyers are coming on the Nasdaq, then I would long. So I took some of these longs. On some of these trades, I was putting my stop underneath the swing low when it made sense to, just because, if you're seeing that the ES is showing strength, the Nasdaq is starting to show strength, buyers are starting to come in, it's safer. There was actually a pullback here, so it's not, a breakout style of trade. So when that's the case, I'm okay having my stop be, underneath the swing low and be a little bit further away, and I'm okay risking my total $1,500 worth of risk for the day, um, just for the sake of holding that trade, because I think we are trending upwards, and today has been an upwards trending day. It's just been a matter of get in where you can and then take whatever the market is willing to give. So we had these two trades. They put us back in the green after the second one. Unfortunately, the third trade, this trade was kind of bad. This was, I think, my worst trade of the day. After getting stopped out here, I felt like I got out of it too early. And so as soon as it pushed and broke this, I just FOMO'd in. I wasn't really paying attention to what the ES was doing or even the Delta. The Delta did have some buyers that came in on that push, but then you'll see shortly afterwards you had like a little bit of indecisiveness. So I jumped in there a bit early. It came against me and I ended up stopping out on this trade. It was wrong to enter, but if I was going to enter this trade, I should have had my stop be a lot less, and then taking maybe like a $200 or $300 loss rather than taking this was a $600 loser here. So it erased a good portion of the gains that I had from these two previous trades and put me back in the red. Had another small loser here. This was okay. I expected that this was a pullback, and it looked like it was gonna push back to the long side. I was a little early. I was wrong there. It's okay to be wrong. Just get out of it. So it took a small loss. Finally, waited for we were patient. Bounced off the +1. Had a big push up. Trailed it, followed it up, and got stopped out eventually. Big gain there. This one I think was just shy of $1,000. So that put us back in the. I think that erased most of our loss. I don't know if I was necessarily positive at that point, but we were very close to it. Next trade, again, bought and just kind of waited. Same deal. Saw the ES pushing, jumped in. It pushed, got out quickly, just got stopped out for positive. That was a good trade. This next trade was not nothing necessarily wrong with it. It just didn't work out. I stopped out quickly, so that was fine, and then had the final trade for the day, which you probably saw that one. But just again, saw the ES breaking above this pivot point, and saw that the Nasdaq was also showing strength on the Delta. Jumped in. We got our push up. It pushed up to the +2, so I tightened up my stop. I decided I would hold it if this thing could break the +2 on the first touch and just go. Unfortunately, it got stopped out, and then it's pushing up more right afterwards. It's a little unfortunate to be out of this. Would have been nice to have had this right on the +2 and just be following the +2 standard deviation upward, and let this thing just rocket off and do whatever it wants, right? I would have stopped trailing my stop quite as close here, and potentially had very, very large gains on the day. But that's okay. The last trade was still, I don't know if I could see. Last trade still made 975, so just shy of 1,000 on the last trade. Puts us up 585 for the day. Not bad. I'll take it and I'll get out of here. It is now 6 minutes before 10:30. I generally don't like trading for more than 2 hours just because of the mental strain. I like to keep myself as fresh as I can so I can, come in the next day, be calm, cool, collected, and, just get after it. It is Friday, so we'll be back in here on Monday. Hopefully all this stuff is helpful for, whoever is watching. If anyone is interested in Topstep, feel free to go join their combine. I don't know. I enjoy Topstep anyway. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Please do not subscribe to the channel. People have been subscribing. Please don't. I'm only doing this series just for the sake of showing like my experience with Topstep's combine. And then after that, I won't post anything here ever again. But that's it. Thanks.